Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Sam and welcome to the channel. If you guys did not know, ESPN put out their top 100 NBA players for the upcoming 2020-2021 NBA season, and in my opinion there are just clearly so many things poorly done, like players not ranked properly at all. It seems like they're kind of doing it for clicks. But today I'm going to go over everything that I thought was really wrong and the biggest mistakes I thought ESPN made when making their top 100 NBA players list. But if you guys do enjoy NBA content just like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and drop a like. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. I'm not going to show you guys like the full top 100 list. That would take a long time. Of course, there's 100 players, but I'm going to go over what I think are the main things wrong. I'm going to try not to nitpick too much like in the back. Like obviously like 50 to 100 is a lot harder to rank than it is like the top 10, top 15 players. So I'm going to keep that in mind. And I am going to give them a little bit more leeway if it's like a player like in the 80s. But if it's a player like in the top 10, I'm definitely going to nitpick it and see what I think is wrong. For this first image right here, this is the top 5 players list. Of course, it is LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Giannis, Luka Doncic, and Kawhi Leonard. Now, I don't have too many problems with this, but I do think that Anthony Davis is a little bit overrated on this list. Number 2 for Anthony Davis. He had an amazing postseason run and ended up winning the championship. But of course, I don't think he's above Giannis and Kawhi yet. I think you could make the case that he is better than Luka. He had a great series against Denver in the playoffs and also another great NBA Finals series. Basically just a great entire postseason run. But as far as the second player in the league goes, I think that's either Kawhi Leonard or Kevin Durant, depending on if he's healthy or not. So in my opinion, the first big thing they messed up was putting Anthony Davis at number 2. I think Giannis, Luka, and Kawhi all have a case to be above him, but of course I still have Anthony Davis in my like top 5, top 6 players, but I think 2 is a little bit much. And I would also say on this top 5 list that I do think Kawhi Leonard is better than Luka Doncic right now. And after this season, Luka could definitely be above Kawhi Leonard. But as of now, I think Kawhi Leonard is still a better player than Luka. So I would swap Kawhi Leonard and Luka as well as move Anthony Davis down on the list. Moving on to this next set of players, this is the 6 through 10 list. Now I think Kevin Durant, he is number 6, but of course I see where they're coming from. It's coming off of injury. It's an Achilles injury. One of the worst injuries you can get in basketball, probably the worst injury. So I don't really have a problem with him being at 6. Obviously, anywhere from like 2 to 6 is fine, depending on where you see Kevin Durant come back from his injury. But I do have a problem with Damian Lillard over Stephen Curry. I don't think Dame has done anything that would push him over the Stephen Curry like leap. Curry has 2 MVPs, unanimous MVP, and I know it is talking about like right now and going into the next NBA season, but I still think Stephen Curry is the best point guard in the league by a pretty far margin. I would swap like Steph Curry into 7, maybe drop Damian Lillard down to like 9 or 10. Still, Dame is a great player. He won the bubble MVP. Dame was definitely balling out when the NBA came back in July, and he's definitely a top 2 or 3 point guard in the NBA, but I still think Curry is the best point guard. So that is also another thing I would change on this list. Okay guys, now for this next group, we probably have the most ridiculous, in my opinion, the most ridiculous placement with Zion Williamson at number 19. And you can see at the bottom, guys, like it's Jason Tatum number 11, 12, 17. Like it's not exactly in order, but these are the screenshots ESPN posted of the players. So like Tatum, Butler, Devin Booker, that's not exactly how it goes. Obviously, Tatum's 11, Butler's 12, and Devin Booker is 17, but those were the players included on the list. So I thought I would go over some of those players right now. But of course, Zion Williamson at number 19. He's only played 19 games in the NBA, and he's already 19th in the NBA. I don't really think that makes sense at all. To be honest, he's definitely not better than Paul George, even though like playoff P, pandemic P, he had a terrible postseason.
Second shots though. George, way off. It's the side of the backboard.
Paul George is still definitely one of the best players in the NBA, and in my opinion, he's definitely way better than Zion. I understand that the list is going into the 2020-2021 NBA season, but still, even expecting a leap from Zion, I still don't think he would be better than a player like Paul George, or even in the top 20 conversation yet. I still think that Brandon Ingram is going to be the best player on that team after next season. So of course, Zion Williamson at 19 is definitely way overrated in my opinion. He should be in like the 20s or mid 30s in my opinion. He's only played 19 games in the NBA. Granted, he did play really well in those 19 games. But in the bubble games, he looked pretty gassed out there. He wasn't really playing that well in the bubble. And the Pelicans had like the easiest bubble schedule. They couldn't even get into a play-in game. And overall, I just think that Zion Williamson should not be in the top 20 players. And he's definitely one of the most overrated players on the ESPN list. And also, for Jason Tatum being over Jimmy Butler, I don't have a problem with it. I do think that Jason Tatum is slightly better than Jimmy Butler. I know that the Heat just beat the Celtics in the playoffs. But overall, at the end of next season, I think Jason Tatum will make another leap in skill. And I also think that Jimmy Butler Butler has kind of capped out. I think that the 2020 playoff run in the bubble that Jimmy Butler did was the peak of Jimmy Butler, and I still think we have more levels to Tatum, and I think Tatum is a little bit better than Butler right now. Moving on to the next group of players, this is probably the most disrespectful ranking in my opinion. They have Russell Westbrook at 36 in the league. Oh my god, I don't even know how ESPN published this article. 36 for Russell Westbrook. I know he had a bad postseason. They got eliminated in the second round in 5 games, and Russell Westbrook did not play well in that series at all. But still, Russell Westbrook, the 2017 MVP, averaged a triple-double 3 straight years. I know they want to talk about the present, but I still think Russell Westbrook on the Wizards is going to be a great player. They're definitely going to have a playoff spot, and Russell Westbrook is much better, in my opinion, than Trae Young, Karl Anthony Towns, and Kyrie Irving is a debate, but I still think that Russell Westbrook is definitely way better than the 36th player in the league. There's no way in my mind there's 35 players right now that are better than Russell Westbrook in the NBA. I'm going to compare Russell Westbrook, who's ranked 36, to Zion, who's ranked 19th. I cannot believe that Russell Westbrook is ranked 36 and Zion is 19. Westbrook is way better than Zion in my opinion. He can raise a team's floor much better, even anticipating Zion's leap next year. Russell Westbrook is still a top 3 or 4 point guard in the NBA. You cannot deny that. Westbrook is still one of the best players in the league, and definitely probably the most disrespected player on the list. And ESPN definitely got Russell Westbrook's ranking very wrong. Now the next player I want to talk about is Tyler Herro. He is ranked 59th, I think, in the NBA, and I think this is very overrated for Tyler Herro. He had a great playoff run. He dropped like 37 points in one game versus the Boston Celtics. Tyler Herro is definitely not top 60, top 50 players. He came off the bench, he averaged like 13 points a game. He's very overrated in my opinion. He had a great playoff run, as I said, and there's always a reason why people get overrated or underrated. He had a great postseason run, very good shooting, but of course he really isn't a good defender at all, and I definitely think Zach LaVine should be way more than 3 spots ahead of Tyler Herro, and for that matter, Lonzo Ball should definitely not be above Zach LaVine. I don't even know how they put together this list and how they put Lonzo Ball over Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine averaged like 24 points a game. He led the Bulls. He was the best player on that team, the best scorer on that team. Lonzo Ball, on the other hand, wasn't even like a top 2 player on the Pelicans, including Zion and Brandon Ingram. I think they were both better than Lonzo last year. Lonzo can't shoot free throws. I don't really think Lonzo deserves to be above Zach LaVine at all. Definitely one of the craziest rankings on this list, Lonzo being above Zach LaVine and also Tyler Herro being up so high. I definitely think Lonzo Ball isn't done yet, and he can still make another improvement next season, but I can say the same thing for Zach LaVine, who I think will improve once again, and both are on bad teams, so it's not even like that Lonzo Ball is like making the playoffs and Zach LaVine's not. They're both terrible teams, the Bulls and the Pelicans, so I have no idea how Lonzo Ball's above Zach LaVine, and that's definitely, in my opinion, one of the worst rankings on this list. Tyler Herro and Lonzo Ball and Zach LaVine. Now we're getting into like the 80s and above. Now I said I wasn't going to nitpick up here, but there is one player that I saw, and it's DeMar DeRozan at number 82. I cannot believe that DeMar DeRozan is ranked number 82. I know he's on the Spurs. The Spurs didn't make the playoffs. It's like their first time in like 20 years or something the Spurs didn't make the playoffs. But still, DeMar DeRozan is still averaging 20 plus points a game on decent defense. I know he can't really shoot 3-pointers that well or at all. He doesn't really shoot 3-pointers at all. He's more of a mid-range shooter. DeRozan is not the same player he once was in Toronto, but of course, guys, it's DeMar DeRozan. He's definitely way better, in my opinion, than Tyler Herro, and Tyler Herro is ranked like 25 rankings higher than him. DeMar DeRozan was definitely one of the most disrespected players on this list for sure. And I think DeMar DeRozan can be like a third option on a championship level team. And I definitely can't say that about Tyler Herro. I don't think Tyler Herro can be a third option on a team. And of course, guys, Tyler Herro is ranked way higher than him. And even Lonzo Ball, I would still take DeMar DeRozan over Lonzo Ball any day. And he's ranked like 30 rankings higher than him. So I don't really understand this at all. It kind of seems like they forgot about him and then just like put him on the list later on because they forgot to rank him. But either way, DeMar DeRozan heavily disrespected. He should be way higher on the list, and he can still give you 25 points a game on pretty good efficiency shooting mid-range shots. And also for DeMar DeRozan, contending teams are still trying to get him, like the Lakers. He can still give a team an extra boost to their roster and help them win a championship. So of course, DeMar DeRozan is very disrespected on this list. ESPN did a terrible job, in my opinion, when ranking these top 100 players. It was pretty disgusting, to be honest, and just how poor of a job they really did ranking these top 100 players. DeRozan should definitely not be 82. He should be up in like the 40s or maybe even 30s. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video on me going over everything that I thought was wrong in the ESPN Top 100 Players list. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and drop a like. We are trying to grow. I'm going to be uploading NBA content just like this throughout the year. I really like making these NBA style videos. And of course, make sure to drop a comment down below. what player do you think was the most disrespected or overrated? Just overall, what was the biggest shock when you saw the top 100 list that ESPN made? Obviously, guys, I don't think it was that great. Drop a comment down below on your thoughts on it. And that's going to be it for me. I'll see you guys in the next one.